Welcome back to the Nail Source podcast. I'm Amy Masters, nail tech educator and mentor with over 30 years in the nail industry. This podcast is for nail professionals who want to simplify their work, build real confidence in business and in self while creating a career that's profitable, sustainable, and aligned with their life. Today, we're closing out the Why Nails Lift mini-series. We have covered why they lift, about prep, and now we're going to cover about proper structure. And I want this episode to feel a little bit more like clarity, because even if you've been doing everything right and still see lifting, you are not broken, you are not behind, you are definitely not alone. So now you've done a beautiful set. The client leave happy. 2 weeks later, they send you pictures of lifting. And then your brain goes into detective mode. Was it the prep? Was it the product? Was it the lamp? Was it me? Was it the hormones? Was it the weather? Was it them? Because let's be real, sometimes it is the client. Because lifting feels so random, but lifting is never random. Now, not all gels are created equal. They vary in flexibility, rigidity, viscosity, adhesion, and curing process. Some gels move with the nail, but some gels move with the nail. Some stay rigid, and if your client's nails flex and the gel doesn't, then this is when stress built on the nail to cause separation. So let's think about the layers. If the base wants to move, then the builder wants to stay rigid, but the color shrinks during curing. That's called tension. Tension eventually releases as lifting. So it's the compatibility. And if you think about it, we have your base, the builder, the color, and the top. Now, this is a complete system. But when you mix brands or formulas or curing times, you may create layers that expand and contract differently. And then lifting appears even when your prep and your application is perfect. Now, let's look at lifting. If it's happening, look at where. Is it at the cuticle? If so, it's usually linked to prep or flooding the cuticle area. For example, it's usually like in not removing completely the oils of cleansing in the beginning, or it's actually depositing oils from your cleanser that might have an aloe or something in it, or it's not filing enough to create a proper edge on that sidewall, or it's flooding it with product. Now, if the lifting's on the sidewalls, it could be related to structure or lack of prep on the sidewall. If the lifting is on the free edge, it could be lack of not removing the prior product. I mean, think about it. Sometimes the product, if they have clients who have come in for fill after fill after fill, sometimes the product that's at the free edge has been there for weeks or even months. And that creates a lot of stress onto that, could create separation. So then we got to take a look at like when. So if it's immediately that you have lifting, it's usually related to prep or the chemistry of combining products. If it's days later, could be related to structure and sidewall issues. If it's weeks later, that's usually a direct reflection of the client's lifestyle, possibly length, or that it's just not workable for them to go that many weeks. Retention leaves the clues. For example, if a client lifts like a heavy tub, the pressure of that pushes down on the inside corner of the nail, but the stress pressure actually affects the sidewall on the opposite side of the nail. So you can have the pressure on the one side create lifting from the other, but with proper structure and length for the client, you should be able to find the right balance in there. So I want to ask if this is making you realize that you've never actually been learned proper prep steps. I do have a free training called Simplifying Nail Prep that walks you through the foundation step by step. It helps you with timing and retention. It's designed to stop guessing and start understanding. You can find that in the free resources at the nailsource.store. Okay, so now let's talk about the most overlooked retention factor, and that's the structure. Prep gets you the adhesion started, but structure keeps it intact. Proper structure helps distribute the nail stress pressures. And if the structure is off, the stress concentrates. Then you have product separation, cracks, especially into, the stress areas, and lifting begins. The nail is constantly moving. Your clients are typing, tapping, lifting tubs, also cleaning in hot and cold. The nail expands and shrinks with the heat and the cold. Also, weather, nail biting. They fidget, they play with their nails. They have just the daily life pressure. But if your structure doesn't support that movement, then the lifting happens. So here are common structure mistakes. They can be too flat. The apex could be too far forward, and that would create like the front stress. The apex may be too far back, creating cuticle lifting. If it's too thin on the stress area, then you get breaks, cracks, lifting. And if the structure, it's not cosmetic, it's engineering. So let's do a simple structure check. I want you to look at the side profile of the nail. Is it smooth? Does it have an apex? Does the apex flow, and is it in the proper placement? Look down the barrel. Is it balanced? Is it the C curve even from sidewall to sidewall? Do you have a credit card thickness at the free edge, but yet it's tapered down at the cuticle? Is the stress area supported? Because if the stress area is supported and everything is in alignment, your retention improves dramatically. My biggest breakthrough wasn't like finding just the right product. It was actually realizing that there was a system, that retention equals prep and compatibility of the products, proper structure, your client reality of their length and workability. Once I tracked the patterns, retention became predictable, and predictable equals confidence because we know how to correct it. We know how to fix it. Lifting is like communication, and now you can speak that language. You can connect the dots to the problem and create the solution. Now, it may be that you do need to change your product line. Find one that fits your client's needs, but it's also simple for you to use. You simplified the process of it. Then you can start seeing the retention. Your clients can go 3 to 4 weeks without lifting, without issues, and then you've created the system that works for you. Now, if you've struggled with lifting, you were never taught the full picture. Now you have it, and this can change everything. If this mini series helped you, please save it, revisit it, or share it, because confidence grows with clarity. So until next time, keep simplifying, keep learning, and keep trusting your expertise. Thanks for being here.